Are you looking for a camera for your own content, online, family, or otherwise? Today I'm going to explain why I think Canon makes the absolute best cameras for that purpose. Whether it's the budget-friendly M50 or the frenemy of budget, the EOS R, or heck, even one of their older styles of DSLR cameras, there really isn't that much that can beat a Canon camera. Oh yeah, bring on the comments! What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. There definitely seems to be a resurgence in Canon's online popularity these days. I mean, it's funny, but there seems to be this curve where when Canon releases a new camera, everyone hates it until slowly but surely it wins the monster that is the internet opinion all over again. Now I do want to say up front that I'm not sponsored by Canon, I don't have any deals with Canon, and I've never actually talked to anybody from Canon except when I swung by their booth at NAB this year to ask why they took 24 frames per second off all their newest cameras in 1080p. I didn't actually get a good answer, unfortunately. Now, why this all came about is I'm currently starting to take my second YouTube channel a little more seriously, which, if you like outdoors gear, you should definitely click on this link up top and join in on the fun. And I want a small, portable, high-quality camera to do the heavy lifting on that because I don't want to do a lot of it in studio, I want to do a lot of it outside. One of the benefits of running a marginally successful YouTube channel about cameras is I've had both the experience in using just about every single camera released in the last couple of years and the incoming revenue to basically just buy whatever I want to fulfill that role. And that's not flexing, that's just a statement of fact. And while I still think the Sony a6400 is currently the best camera released this year, I'm currently down to the M50 or the EOS R. I mean, that's not the purpose of this video. I mean, it's not specifically about either of these two cameras. I think Wednesday's video will cover that more in depth, but this video is about why Canon's interchangeable lens system of cameras is almost always the best choice. If you want a camera that just doesn't get in your way, don't get me wrong, I love the Nikon Z6. It's my favorite full frame camera that's ever been released, but there's just something about Canon cameras, and to really do that, let's head outside and see just how easy of a system these cameras can be to use. See ya out there. Now, I'm not much of a vlogger, and I do know that this lens is pretty tight for vlogging. We're gonna set you down here in a second, but I feel like this is the best way to get my point across while being exciting and we can be out on the move. Point number one today is that specs don't matter, and I get it. Canon gets lambasted all the time for not having the best specs. We're currently recording in 1080p and it's 2019. Shouldn't we be doing everything in 4K? But that's one of the benefits that Canon has, is that while they don't have the specs, what they do have is good enough. And you hear me say this all the time, but once you upload a video, all of it will be mauled in some way, shape, or form by some kind of online compression. Whether you upload it to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, anything, all of your beautiful 4K, 8K, 10K images will be mauled by the platforms that you upload them on. So specs do not matter. Can you get a good enough image for what your content is to deliver? If you can, then that camera will win, and that's reason number one why Canon continues to win, because their image is good enough. Leading into number two, these cameras are just the easiest cameras in the world to use. For this shot, all I did was I set the camera up, I turned it on, it is good to go. It's got the flip screen so I can see what's going on. It's got a microphone in jack so I can have a microphone on it. I've got everything that I need. From right here, I can monitor my audio, I can see what the image looks like, I can judge my exposure, and it manually does everything really nicely. And it's just that's the thing, right? Like we just said, image quality is gonna get mauled, so the most important part, and you'll hear me say this all of the time, is just how easy is a camera to use is the most important. So what breaks down and what makes these the easiest cameras to use? Well, there's a couple of things. One, like I just said, the flip screen. Right now I can see what the camera is recording, and if you are somebody that is the talent, the camera operator, the director, the scripter, everything, you gotta know what the camera's doing. If you wanna be able to make sure that the image that you're trying to get across, the story that you're trying to tell, is it being told the way that you want it? That's the flip screen's the best part. But the other part of that is autofocus. I mean, sure, it's great if the screen can show me what it's doing, but on a Panasonic camera, if it's not gonna focus on me, or it's not gonna focus on what I want it to focus on, then I mean, it's just another layer of fiddle. And Canon has the dual pixel autofocus, which, as you can see right now, works fantastic. I've just got it set up into the face and it's now eye detection setting, so it will track me wherever we go out of the frame. We come back in the frame, it just works. And if you're gonna use something like a 1.8 prime on a full frame camera, you'll get shallow depth of field, which means you really need good autofocus if you wanna make sure that your content doesn't look terrible. So if you want shallow depth of field, you need good autofocus, because manually focusing would be a nightmare. Or if I had to like step up, tap, 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 tap. Okay, focus, can't move. We can do this. Okay, step back. Oh no, tap, tap, tap. It's like having good autofocus makes your life so much easier. It's almost like having the camera be its own camera operator, and that is so incredibly useful. But it's not all about ease of use, as much as I say it is. I mean, it's the most important to me, but at the end of the day, you still need it to look decent, and that's Canon's color science. Now, do I fully buy into it? No, not necessarily. I mean, I think all kind of cameras can look great. I like what Sony's doing, I like what Nikon's doing, I like what Panasonic's doing, but there is something about the Canon image quality. Now, for example, again, like we said earlier, we are currently recording in 1080p. I don't record in 1080p on any other camera, but Canon cameras look really good in 1080p. Now, if you're gonna have a YouTube channel where you're just starting out, or you don't have a lot of equipment where you can like fully process and handle 4K, because 4K is a bear if you've never used it, Canon cameras again. So it's like all in one, where the camera not only looks good, it's very easy to use, it does most of the work itself. You can judge whether it's doing what you want it to do or not, but... oh, there's a big stick that just fell down over there. Hopefully none of those are above me. It's like the camera, just because it looks good in lower settings, just makes it even easier even when the camera's off to use. Like, you gotta think about a camera as a system. Cameras, the computer, everything. It's a system that you need to get to work to make your content, whether it be video or photo. So if you can get a system to work holistically, where it not only works when the camera is on, but it also works when the camera is off, that is a win. And we're super tight on my face right now. Ugh. And the last thing that I want to mention before it starts storming, now that I'm sweating, destroyed by mosquitoes, is the body of the camera will only get you so far. So another thing that Canon just kills it on and wins is they've got the EF mount. They've got the EF line of lenses that have, it's the largest line of lenses that you're gonna find. Like, the only comparable mount is the Nikon F, but everything's made for EF. Like, cinema lenses are EF, like everything is EF. And yes, every mirrorless camera offers some way to adapt EF lenses, and that's great. All of those work incredibly well, but they don't work nearly as well as they do on the native Canon camera. Whether you're talking about the M50, whether you're talking about the EOS R that we're recording on right now, they all just work fantastically. And if you want that image quality, you want that sharpness, you want everything that we just talked about, you need those good lenses, and they work the best on the Canon body. Okay, let's head back inside, as I now have like 30 mosquito bites. I'm sweating, and hopefully I don't have some kind of like random disease. See you back in there. And really quickly, I forgot to mention something. So we are currently back on the M50 because I do want to mention that Canon cameras are also very reasonably priced. Again, I'm on the M50 for a reason. Like, you can get this for what, like 650 bucks with the kit lens that we're currently recording on, and you get access to all of that. Like, that's incredible. The Canon 77, the T7i, the SL3, the SL2, they are all very reasonably priced cameras that you can get to create your online content. Like, they are all APS-C size sensors. They will get you very good image quality. If you want to step up to full frame, there's the 6D Mark II, or there's the EOS RP, which is like the M50 of the R family, where you get the nice lenses, you get all that. And I know people are gonna say like, well, they're crippled, they're missing stuff. I can't defend Canon on specs. Canon, when it comes to specs, sucks. But for usability, good video quality, and just easy darn to use, they're very reasonably priced for what you get. The one that is just a little expensive and is outside that range, like we said in the video of the M50 versus the EOS R, the EOS R is expensive, but like you saw, that C-Log, I love that image quality. Okay, I'm sorry I forgot that part. Wrapping up the video. And now I'm grumpy after that just wave of mosquitoes. So something that I find funny is even making this video firmed my belief even stronger. I cannot think of another camera system that I've used in these last 2 years that would have let me to just hop outside and create the portions of this video by myself so easily. And as a big benefit to the EOS R, once we switched to C-Log outside, oh man, that is now my outdoor recording mode, period. Like, look, straight up, Canon cameras do not beat anything on spec. Even on the overall image quality, I like the Z6 I like the A7 III, and I like the GH5's 4K way better than I like the 4K on the EOS R. I mean, there's a reason we're recording on the Z6 right now and not the EOS R. I also like the image quality from the X-T3, the X-T30, and the A6400. The M50 doesn't even come close to those, but technical image quality doesn't matter. We reached peak IQ for online content years ago. I'm sorry if you don't believe me, but that is the case. And the quality coming out of Canon's cameras will get you there with very little effort on the part of managing the camera. And frankly, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You want the camera to be part of the crew. If you're a solo content creator, there's only so much that you can do to manage the camera. You want the Canon to be an adult, to grow up, to finally get a job, and to do most of the work for you. And there's no other camera besides Canon that currently does that. Thanks for watching.